Hey, comic lovers, EMoney, the old man, and Thor the Dog of Thunder here. Hey, boy. Hey, boy, what's up? You been good today? You been good? Yeah? Alright, we're out here in the garage with our pop-up comic shop inventory. Most of it, not all of it. Still have, a lot of stuff in the shed. Alright, so what's going on this week? Well, we are talking about some news coming down from Marvel this week, and also some news, some unfortunate news, if you're into that, about a show on Netflix. Also, we're going to have our comic reviews and previews, and then we're going to talk about some of the sales that we have going on this weekend. All right, you ready, boy?
We're in just a second.
Yep. He needs his payment.
Dang, I need that.
All right. She-Hulk, attorney at law. She goes green, so you get green. This is Back Issues. Alright, comic lovers, so before we get started today, don't forget to subscribe to our channel, turn on notifications, give us a thumbs up, and if you like, leave us a comment. Help us reach 1,000 subscribers.
It's not moving very fast.
We're in and around 900 right now. We're looking for that last 100.
Haven't hit 900.
Alright, so help us get there. Alright, so, talking comic book, movie news, and a little bit of sci-fi news, I guess, as well. Alright, so first up, has Marvel Studios found its Mr. Fantastic? Well, it was recently confirmed by WandaVision director Matt Shakman that taking over the helm of, he's going to be taking over the realm in the Fantastic Four reboot, and a new rumor almost confirms that U-star Penn Badgley might end up in the role of Reed Richards. In fact,
who?
He might already have the role. Well, we've never watched You, the show on Netflix, Y-O-U, but the star of that show, Penn Badgley, if you're a fan of the show, he might already have the role of Reed Richards.
A picture of him up right here.
Yes, he's right there.
I don't know who you're talking about.
So, apparently the studio was looking to diversify the four leads in the role, but they thought they should take on a more traditional role for Reed Richards. So, the guys, that is Marvel Studios, have been talking about it, and the guys that Marvel Studios have been talking to are all white guys, people who have been interested in Reed Richards. That guy, Penn Badgley, from the show You, who probably has the role already, frankly, he's a white guy. And they're going with the standard, and he's terrific, by the way. That's a good choice, but they're going very classical for the part. So, as a lot of people know, John Krasinski already played Reed Richards in the Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness movie, and that variant didn't last long. But fans were hoping that he would play the regular MCU variant of Reed Richards as well in the upcoming Fantastic Four movie. And he could still do so if the rumors about Penn Badgley are exaggerated, but even director Sam Raimi said that casting Krasinski in that role was fan service.
Well, okay, thank you.
Right. So, what do you guys think? Would Penn Badgley be a good fit for Reed Richards? Would you rather have Krasinski fill the role again, or do you have someone else entirely in mind?
Since I'm not familiar with this guy you're talking about, I don't know.
Let us know what you think in the comments. And like everyone says, Penn's great, but since the old man and I have not seen him, we can't say for certain. So if you've watched You tell us what you think.
So no rumors on the other three parts?
No, not at this time that I've seen. All right, so on to our next story. Unfortunately, if you're a fan of the Resident Evil TV series, it was confirmed last week that Netflix has decided to cancel the series after just one season.
Netflix? What the hell?
Well, I know Netflix has a reputation for, one and out on TV shows. I can't blame them that much for this one.
Really?
Because, yeah, I mean, it was okay, but I wasn't digging it as much as I wanted to.
No, I mean, I like that Korean high school zombie movie we're watching better.
Yep, All of Us Are Dead.
Show
Yep.
that movie.
Yeah, I mean, check that out if you're looking for some zombie stuff.
If you like Train to Busan.
Right.
If you didn't like that one or the sequel to it, then don't bother, because you won't like this.
Right. All right, so the first season of Resident Evil consisted of 8 episodes.
Did we watch all of them?
Yes, we did.
Okay.
And it was not well received critically. It earned 55% on the tomato meter and 26% audience scores.
Wow.
I mean, usually the audience is much more...
Especially on that type of movie.
Yeah, I mean, they're much more generous than the critics are. But, and the story, of course, ended on a cliffhanger, but Netflix decided to cancel it. So, the series showrunner, Andrew Dabb, who also was a showrunner for Supernatural at one point, had an ambitious plan in mind for Resident Evil's future chapters. And he explained to comicbook.com, the show is set within the canon of the Resident Evil video games. He says, the games are our backstory. Everything that happened in the game exists in this world. So the village is there. We might not get there until season 5, but it is in our world. And we can play those stories as is, and we can plan for them moving ahead. And the village is a resource to draw on. Everything in the games is the backstory for the show. And we're doling it out in pieces. We're not being like episode 3, Meet the Redfields, episode 4, here's Leon. And I'm sure there's a certain part of the fan base that would like it to be like that. Please do that version. But for us,
you might have got season 2.
I'm about to get to that in a second. But for us, it was more important to take you on this journey. And then as the journey goes on and on, we will touch on different quarters and aspects of the mythology. Okay, well, unless you had a guarantee from Netflix that you were going to get 3 or 4 seasons, it was obviously a poor decision to do it that way.
Yeah,
because
I mean, if you're on Netflix and you got some big guns to use, whip those suckers out, use them.
I mean, you had a built-in fan base who were eager to see this new show, but you didn't get them. You didn't give them the Redfields. You didn't give them Leon Kennedy.
You didn't throw them any bones at all.
Yeah, we didn't see Raccoon City. You mentioned Raccoon City, but we didn't get to see it. And instead, you give us these characters who, as far as I know, were never in the game. We've never heard of them. And you have it in this, company, umbrella-built city for the flashback scenes. And then in the present, you have the post-apocalyptic universe that, other characters we've never heard of, and you just dropped the ball. I mean, people were expecting certain things from you, and you gave them none of it, other than, zombies and other infected things. So, that was, sorry, poor planning. So, the live-action future of Resident Evil remains uncertain. So, and this is another quote from the showrunner. Over the course of the series, I want to bring everything in. Left to my own devices, I want Lady Dimitrescu. I want the plant monster. I want it all. I want everything, but judiciously and responsibly over time. Again, should have had a guarantee. So, the 2021 Resident Evil movie, Welcome to Raccoon City, premiered to not ideal numbers in 2021.
It wasn't great by any means.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, as much as a fan, I am Raccoon City and Resident Evil games. I barely remember that movie.
Yeah, me neither. It was kind of blah.
And, the problem with that was you rushed it. I mean, you tried to compound at least the first 2 video games into a 90-minute movie. That didn't work either. So far we've not had, directors and showrunners who know how to use the material responsibly.
All right, so.
And that was a $25 million budget, which is, pretty conservative for a movie like this. And it earned, let's see, $38 million worldwide.
I wouldn't mind having $13 million in my pocket.
All right.
Anyway, moving on.
Yeah. So it appears that any live-action adaptations for Resident Evil are paused for the time being. All right, so that is gonna do it for entertainment news. Let us know what you guys think about the fantastic forecasting and the future of Resident Evil in the comments below. All right, you ready? You ready to take a break? Yeah, yeah. You ready to take a break, boy? Yeah, you're a good boy. You're a good boy. All right.
We're going to the basement.
Yeah, let's head out to the basement for some comic book reviews. Alright, so if you've never seen us grade comics before, we grade them on a 5-shield rating system. We each give them 2 scores, one for writing and story and the other one for artwork. And then we combine those 4 scores together to give it an average overall score. Alright, so first,
do you think all those hand gestures, do you think that means anything? Do they get that?
I don't know. I mean, looking back on, stories I tell, I know that I often use hand gestures. I have expressive hands.
I'm just trying to explain that I give it 2 scores, you give it 2 scores, we join them together to get 1 score. That's what that means.
Okay.
Did you know what that meant?
I mean,
you were paying attention to me. You don't care what I'm doing.
All right, so mentions first.
What?
Mentions first? Yes.
All right. All right, so first one you wanted to talk about is Miles Morales number 41 or number 281, depending on how you look at it. I hate that thing.
Yeah, I know.
It's 41.
All right, so this one I picked to mention this week because it might be something for the speculators to keep an eye out for. Because in this issue, Miles Morales and his allies find themselves in an alternate dimension where it's a dystopian future, or futuristic, and a rogue, evil Miles Morales has taken over New York City. So Miles and his allies from our universe and from this new universe band together to take out the evil Miles. So once it's all said and done, a new hero for this world rises up so that evil Miles doesn't come back or someone just like him. And she calls herself the Spider Smasher, which seems like a misleading name. You're dressed as a spider. I mean, the name implies that you're going to smash spiders. Which I guess she is, because evil Miles is a Spider-Man, so...
True.
Okay. Anyways, so this is, I believe, the first appearance of the spectacular Spider Smasher. Now, of course, no idea if, writers are going to do anything with her in future stories, but I believe this is her first appearance. So, you speculators, if you haven't already, might want to pick that up. Alright, so, the quality of the comic book as a whole, Miles Morales Spider-Man number 41 ends up with
3 shields.
3 shields out of 5.
All
Alright, next up.
Next up from Image Comics, we have Chip Zdarsky's Public Domain number 3.
Alright, so in this story, we found out that the dad of the main character, who is one of the co-creators of a comic book character called Domain, he owns the rights to Domain based on a piece of paper that someone uncovered and sent it to him. So,
and this is a big, huge deal. I mean,
there's
movies.
The companies have made billions of dollars from movie, TV shows, merchandise, comic books, video games, and so he is threatening them with this piece of paper, saying that he owns the rights and he could take it from him. Well, the big corporate company, they can stretch this court case out for years, and he might not win.
Long after he's gone,
right?
They could still be fighting it out in court.
So in the story, the head of the company, or one of their CEOs, pretty much strong arms the son of the creator, who has pretty much been the one leading this whole thing about owning the rights to the character. They pretty much strong arm him into a car, drive him down to their headquarters, and the CEO lady, has this. The other lawyer said something like, gosh, I forgot the word she used, but basically it was scary sweet sort of attitude. Like, let me get you a cup of coffee. Let me, take a seat, make yourself comfortable. By the way, I'll kill everyone and everyone you love. Something like that. Just not those exact words. But anyways, she says to him that, you're not going to win. I mean, some ancient piece of paper isn't going to bring down $1 billion company. Well, if you're smart and you find yourself in a similar situation, you know that if they, strong-arm you into coming down to their headquarters and they're offering you money to go away, that means they're afraid of you just a little bit.
Yeah, you've got them worried.
Yeah, because if they weren't worried, they wouldn't even bother with you. They would, if you try to come into their office, they would show you the door and, they wouldn't give you a second thought. So, little advice for life there from old EMoney. So, they actually meet up with the creator and his lawyer, and they come to a decision at the end of this issue, which I think the creator was stupid for, but he's passionate about his work and he only cares about one thing, and it's not money. So, see where the story goes from here. Public domain issue number 3 ends up with...
We rounded it up and it got 3.5 shields.
3.5 out of 5. All right, and then our last mention today
is Amazing Spider-Man number 8, still drawn by my man John Romita Jr.
Okay, so in the previous issue, Vulture had a falling out with his granddaughter because the Vulture, or the granddaughter, somehow learned about all the horrible things that Vulture's done in his past, and now wants nothing to do with him. And the Vulture, I don't know if it's true or not, I still don't know. The Vulture got into his head that Spider-Man told the granddaughter everything that he had done. Not necessarily telling lies about him, just told her what he did, supposedly. So, the Vulture decides that it's all Spider-Man's fault and he needs to die. So he gets into a big fight with Spider-Man, and Vulture is a lot more aggressive than he usually is. He's out for blood. So when finally Spider-Man gets the upper hand and finds out what all this is about, he says, "All right, so you being you, instead of taking a look in the mirror and asking yourself if maybe you should have killed less people, you thought it would be best to blame me and try to kill me for everything." So, it's sort of cliche, one of the steps to becoming a villain most of the time is...
Blame everybody else.
Blame everybody for your misfortunes but yourself. So, if you ever find yourself doing that, here's another lesson from old EMoney. If you ever find yourself doing that, maybe, take a look at yourself in the mirror and think, is it me? Because, if you're blaming everyone else, odds are it's probably you. All right, so Amazing Spider-Man number 8, or number 902, depending on how you look at it. Same thing as Miles Morales here. Amazing Spider-Man number 8 coming in at
3.5.
3.5 shields out of 5. All right, so there's our mentions for this week. Now on to our top 3.
And guess what? What do you think I'm going to say?
There was a tie?
There was. For the first place.
Uh-huh.
So, EMoney got a little crazy, and he suggested that we do push-ups. Now, I was a little scared, because I know I can't do a lot of push-ups, but I've lost a lot of weight, and I managed to edge EMoney out by 1 push-up. Not that we either one of us did a whole lot of them, and I'm not going to tell you how many we did, because that's embarrassing, but I beat him by 1, which you might want to think I did 1, and he couldn't do a single one. That's not true, but, neither one of us is bragging about our push-up abilities. So, if you don't like the order that number 1 and 2 come in this top 3, that's my fault, but I don't care. So, anyway, number 3, one of the only books I think that we read from Dynamite Comics,
possibly,
is Nyx. And this is Nyx number 9.
All right, so in this issue, Nyx and her younger siblings have decided that they're tired of putting up with their father, the Mad God Chaos's BS, and that they're going to come together and destroy him. and she collects. She has spread her siblings out throughout time, so that they can be raised by different people, so that they'll be prepared when this day finally comes. So they band together and come up with a plan, loosely a plan, and they go to their father's dimension. They break down the door, and
they do all this in spite of the fact that none of them believes they can win.
Nope.
They have no doubt they're going to lose this battle.
They pretty much say their goodbyes to all of their surrogate parents when they leave. So the next issue we'll see, hopefully we'll see just how well they fare against their evil father. So, beautifully drawn, which is why it's ranked so high. Nick's number 9, our number 3 spot for this week with...
Rounded up to 4 shields.
4 shields out of 5. All right, next up.
Number 2 on the hit parade, our boy, Gunslinger Spawn, number 11.
All right. So, Gunslinger, who is still in the modern day era.
Our present.
Right. And, he's from the Old West, so, he's, feeling out of place. He meets up with his friend Taylor, who he befriended when he first got here. I think Taylor might be a descendant of his. I'm not totally solid on that.
That was like 11 issues ago, so I don't remember.
Right. So, they're about to head out on the road when this big, giant behemoth of a guy interrupts their powwow, and he comes looking for Gunslinger. Well, he finds, what was his name?
Who, the bad guy?
No, the kid. I said his name a second ago.
Taylor.
Taylor.
Something like that.
He finds Taylor first, and wanting to know where Gunslinger is. Well, Gunslinger comes back, sees what he's doing to Taylor, and he says, lay off of him. And this big behemoth guy, he's like 3 times the size of Gunslinger, and Gunslinger, he just stares him down. And Gunslinger, a lot of times he reminds me of Harry Dresden, because he's supposedly the weakest of the Spawns. And Harry Dresden, despite being a pretty powerful human wizard, the way Jim Butcher, the author, explains it, is the most powerful human wizard shouldn't have a prayer head-to-head against a fae or a demon or any other sort of magical creature who has abilities. So he's always going against his own weight class, and yet somehow he always manages to come out on top. So in that respect, Gunslinger reminds me a lot of Dresden.
Well, in both cases, you get by with a little help from your friends.
Yep, that too. So these two have it out with each other, and I'm pretty sure the battle will continue in the next issue.
And props to Todd McFarlane for hiring artists who draw very similar to the way Todd draws, because once again, you've got a Todd McFarlane book. It's just it's gorgeous. It's easy to look at.
Very well drawn. All right, Gunslinger Spawn number 11. Our number 2 spot this week ends up with 4 shields out of 5.
And number 1 on the old top 3 list is a Batman book that I've been really liking. And this is number 4, Batman Fortress.
Okay, so in previous issues, alien invasion has blacked out the entire planet, and people are all panicking. They try to attack the alien ships in independent style fashion, military and superheroes alike, and they didn't fare so well, just like in the first attack in Independence Day. So now, Batman has sought help from the President of the United States, a.k.a. Lex Luthor.
Ouch.
Yep. And, also, Superman is missing. Not sure what happened to him, because, at the outset of this invasion, Superman, nowhere to be found. So they decide that they're going to go into Superman's fortress to try and get some help with Kryptonian technology. Well, they locate the coordinates, Lex, Batman, and Lex's team, and there's a big crater in the ice.
No fortress.
Where the fortress used to be. So, not so good.
I mean, you got to figure, even if they found it, that's got to be a really difficult thing to get into. I don't think Superman left the door unlocked.
I mean, I guess if anyone could do it, Batman could, but I don't expect it would be easy.
Well, even he admitted that he needed help.
Yep. So, defeated, Batman goes back to the cave, and there waiting for him is Dale. And Dale is a Green Lantern who is kind of looks like a giant squirrel type creature.
I'd say more like an evil rabbit.
Okay. And, he's surprised to see Dale because when he contacted the Guardians of Oa to try and help them with this alien invasion,
they said, we're out, we're not helping.
Yeah. The Guardians said that they have to remain neutral in this matter for whatever reason.
Yeah.
So Dale kind of went rogue and decided he's going to come to Earth and try to help out.
But there's a problem.
Yeah. Problem is that he couldn't bring his lantern with him because the Guardians would have noticed that was missing.
So the only juice he's got is what's in the ring now.
Yeah. And he says that if he's careful, it'll last him a few days. You would think, having longer battery life would be a priority for the Guardians.
He's a bunny. You'd think he'd have longer life.
Oh, boo. Boo. Send a comment. Shame the old man on that one. Boo. Okay. So, Dale and Batman set out to find some help elsewhere and also figure out where Superman's fortress is.
Now, don't tell them who they find.
Don't. Okay.
No, I would not, because I spent a couple minutes trying to figure out who he was going to meet, and I didn't come up with that answer.
Okay. Well, he finds some help, and they determined that Superman's fortress is still on Earth somewhere, but it's really hard to get to.
Yeah.
So, Batman Fortress continues next month. This issue, Batman Fortress number 4, our number 1 pick for this week, with 4 shields out of 5. And, a great story, that's a good thing to have, but, great artwork is hard to come by. And all of these, our top 3 all, beautifully drawn, and that's why they're in the top 3 this week. All right, so that is it for last week's reviews. Get them at your local comic book shop now if you haven't already. Now, what is coming out today, old man?
All right, so this is the 5th Wednesday of the month. That means all the regular books, for the most part, have already come out. And the comic book companies a lot of times use the 5th week, if there's a 5th week, to, I don't know, like DC put out a bunch of annuals. Well, there were annuals for titles that we don't even get the main book, so we're not going to get the annuals.
Right.
And then a few stragglers, books that have kind of like maybe gotten a little bit behind, they catch up on the 5th week. But unlike our normal amount of books we get, not a whole lot this week. The 2 that I thought jumped out at me, I love Hellcop. And Hellcop number 10 comes out.
Okay.
And I guess probably the thing I'm most looking forward to is Thunderbolts number 1. Now, I don't remember what volume this is because there's been several Thunderbolt series before, but just seeing Hawkeye running the team again, I like it.
Okay. That's it?
That's it.
All right. So, those are our recommendations for this week's releases. Get them at your local comic book shop now. All right, so that is it for comic reviews and previews. Now, let's take a look at the sales the old man and I are going to be having this weekend. All right, so EMoney, the old man's pop-up comic shop is this Saturday. It's September the 3rd. It's going to be 8 a.m. to 1 p.m., 7002 Brookbend Way, Louisville, Kentucky. And we're going to have comic books starting at $1, going up, all kinds of great keys, and we're going to have all kinds of collector's item toys, action figures, plus DVDs and Blu-rays. So be sure to check us out. So just a little bit of a preview of what you can expect at this week's pop-up shop. So based on some of the action figures that we got just this past week, I decided to go with a video game theme for our preview. So get you started here. This one, This comic, not based on a comic book, more, or not based on a video game, more the video game is based on it.
Absolutely.
Because when this thing came out, video games weren't even a thing yet.
No. Didn't even have Space Invaders yet. Didn't have Pong.
Nope. This is Turok, Son of Stone, number 22 by Dell Comics. And this is one of very few comics we have in our inventory that has a 10-cent cover price. So, and you know, fair warning, you know, it's rough. It's in rough condition. It's more of a reader copy for you guys who are into Turok. So,
hey, you gotta want to read about Turok and Andar fighting honkers.
Mm-hmm.
That's what they call dinosaurs.
Oh, okay. All right. So next up, we have Batman Fortnite 0.1. So for all you Fortnite people out there, and you know, really popular game, obviously. So you can
some sort of code in there, but I don't know if the code is still valid, if it expired. I don't open them up and check the code, so I don't know.
All right, so there's that. Then this is pretty cool. You have The Last of Us: American Dreams #1 by Dark Horse Comics.
Now, in spite of the fact that I don't usually watch trailers, I don't watch Marvel trailers. Pretty much anything else I'll watch. But the little teaser they put out for The Last of Us, oh, I'm ready. Let's go.
All right. The Last of Us TV series is coming out soon, based on the video game. If you've never played the video game before, highly recommend it. I mean, it's a classic.
It's a post-apocalyptic zombie story, right?
Right, pretty much. Well, I mean, the purists would say infected, but it's essentially a zombie story. And you know, the video game is classic. The sequel, it's had mixed reviews, but the first one is like perfection.
It's one of those games that I don't play it, but I've spent hours watching EMoney play just because it's interesting.
Mm-hmm. And the series stars the Mandalorian star Pedro Pascal, and also I've forgotten her name at the moment. It was the young actress who plays Lady Mormont in Game of Thrones.
Right. Her name is right here?
Yeah, it's going to be right here on the screen. So check out the series when it comes out, and also check out the video game, and you can pick up the comic book this weekend. All right, so there's the comic book preview. Now on to the toys that we have available this weekend.
You guys got to understand, our toy inventory is ridiculous.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we change it out every Saturday, and there's probably toys that we haven't put on the table since the beginning of the summer.
Yep.
Because we just got such a backlog of inventory.
Mm-hmm. All right. So this toy just came in this past week. This is a throwback. This goes all the way back to 1978. Just think, when this toy first came out, the old man was a young lad of 23. This is the Incredible Hulk utility belt.
And I don't know why the Hulk needed a utility belt.
Of course the Hulk needs a utility belt. I mean, every version of him has a utility belt, right?
No.
Of course he does, right?
No, when he changes to the Hulk, that belt goes bye-bye.
All right, so what comes on the Hulk's utility belt? Well, you have the belt itself, the gamma radiation detector, the Hulk wrist gauntlets, because
Thinks he's Wonder Woman.
Yeah, he needs those wrist gauntlets, and a Hulk voice modulator, so you can sound just like the Hulk.
I bet you don't.
That's yeah, I'm sure that works as well as you expect a kid's toy from 1978 to work. All right, so the Hulk utility belt, a fine collector's item right here.
Let's go over here.
Okay. So next up, you know, I mentioned I was doing a video game theme for our previews, and you know, here's why. Here's the new stuff that came in. First up, you remember me saying that a couple, like earlier in the summer, we sold our Resident Evil 2 action figures. You know, a collector came in, bought all of our Resident Evil toys and comic books. You know, they really wanted it. Well, I got something new now. We have, from Resident Evil 2, same action figure line as before, Leon Kennedy and the Licker right there. So if you're a big Resident Evil 2 enthusiast like me, then you know, that one's for you, because I mean, Leon, you know, that's your guy, main guy right there. Then I have some things. You know, I showed you the Turok comic. Now something from the video games. We have this one from the Turok line. Adon, Speaker of Forever Light. I haven't played a Turok game in a long time, but I'm guessing that's one of Turok's allies.
I never played the Turok game. I just read the comic books.
And it says Turok 2 game codes are inside, so if you have your original Turok 2 video game, I guess you can still use those.
Who knows?
Yeah. So this is from, when is this from? This is from 1998. So if you still got your old game console, you know, you can try out those game codes. And then also from Turok, you have the Primagin, Omniversal Annihilator. Sounds like a bad guy.
Yeah, sounds like a villain.
Yeah, so Primagin right there. All right, so there's our new video game stuff, and we have a lot of other stuff in our video game action figure line. We have stuff from Duke Nukem, we have stuff from Metal Gear Solid, and Marvel vs. Capcom. So you can come check those out as well. And then, finally, one last item here. From the Kingdom Come DC miniseries, this is Batman. And it's a suited up, armored Batman, bigger than your average action figure. Gonna have that available. And we have a lot of other Kingdom Come items that came in this past week as well.
I like that Dead Man that we've got.
Yeah, we have Dead Man, and we have Flash, and I think a Hawkman.
Yeah, the Kingdom Come Flash is almost not recognizable because he was extremely different in the Kingdom Come comic.
I remember he had become so fast that he was basically everywhere all at once.
Right.
So, you know, story by Alex Ross, and did he write the story as well?
If he didn't write it, he was responsible for a lot of the storyline and character creation.
Right. All right, so all these available this Saturday, 8 a.m. to 1 p.m., 7002 Brookbend Way, Louisville, Kentucky. All this and much more. All right, so that is our Saturday sale. Now to tell you about our Sunday sale. It's actually an auction. We're going to be hosting an auction on the Whatnot app. And this Saturday, you know, we do a different theme every Sunday. This week is die-cast figures, because we have a lot of die-cast figures in our inventory.
Tons of die-cast figures.
Yeah, and you know, we want to get them to you guys as quick as we can.
And this is going to be the first time we experiment with selling stuff in lots.
Right, we're gonna do lots. I'm trying to theme the die-cast to, you know, different superheroes. Like I have die-cast motorcycles that have Captain America labels on them. I have jet planes. I have cars. You know, all these different things. So we're gonna try and, you know, lot them together. You know, if you're like, you know, a Captain America fan, I have a lot for you. I have probably Daredevil, Hulk. You know, definitely Spider-Man. We have all kinds of Spider-Man.
We can do multiple lots with Spider-Man.
Yeah, Spider-Man is money. So if you want to join us for our Whatnot auction, it is 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and we're going to start streaming.
When is that, the 4th?
Yes, the 4th. We're going to be streaming 6 p.m. and it is, if you download the app, you can search for us. It's EMoney and the Old Man, no spaces, and you can be notified when we start streaming. All right, so check out both our sales this weekend. Now, let's head back up into the garage with Thor. All right, so back out here in the garage with Thor, and we're gonna do a little, you know, response test with Thor to see how he reacts to something.
Which means he's gonna mess with the dog.
What are you looking at? All right.
The dog might eat his face.
No. Thor doesn't eat face. Alright, this is our doggy challenge video of the week. Old man, hand me the treat bag.
Run away.
Alright.
Here. Run.
Then
Run.
I subtly put this bag into his bag.
There are certain things that dogs shouldn't eat, I had no chocolate in there. Oh, oh! Did you see that? He ate your stuff. Oh no! Thor, get him! Go in and do it.
These drinks are really good.
He didn't see you actually put the last one in your mouth. Make sure he sees you. Oh, dude.
These ones are delicious. I can see why you like them so much.
Dude, you gonna put up with that?
I don't think I can share them. These are really good.
You're a very tolerant dog. Yeah, you better give him one for real. You better give him one for real, or he's gonna hold a grudge.
All right, boy, you can have one. There you go. It is so hard to get a reaction out of you sometimes, you know?
Because I'm all cool.
All right, that is the end of our show, guys. So just give you a recap of what you can expect for the rest of this week. Thursday, we have 2 reaction videos. We have She-Hulk, Attorney at Law on Disney Plus, and the premiere of Lord of the Rings, The Rings of Power.
I thought that was on Wednesday or Friday.
I looked at the premiere date, and it's actually Thursday.
Wow.
This week. Yeah. So
busy.
Yeah, we got a lot to do. Then, on Saturday, we have our pop-up comic shop, 8 a.m. to 1 p.m., 7002 Brookbend Way in Louisville, Kentucky. Come join us for...
And remember, our season is winding down. There's only maybe 7, maybe 8 weeks left.
Yeah, so be sure to come by and check out our deals. Then, on Sunday, we have this week it's our die-cast whatnot auction. We're going to be doing
mostly Marvel die-cast.
But we might throw a few extra things in there for you guys. All right, and then, remember next Sunday it's our DC show with a lot of Batman in it. So be sure to subscribe to us on Whatnot.
Whatnot. You're going to do die-cast this Saturday, and the week after that you're doing the DC stuff. Right?
Exactly.
Okay.
So be sure to follow us on Whatnot. It's EMoney the Old Man, no spaces. All right, we'll see you guys on the next one. Excelsior.
You know what? We have been begging for subscribers to get us to 1,000. And I only have so much patience. So, look, subscribe now. It's your last chance.